Good. You made it here. Not by accident, not by luck, not because life suddenly got soft and rolled out some red carpet for you. No. You made it here because some part of you is still awake. Some part of you still feels the sting, still remembers the lie, still hears the silence after the truth came out, still feels that cold little shift in the room when the person who knew everything finally said it. And then everybody looked at you like you were invisible, like you were a glitch, like your pain was bad for the aesthetic, like your existence was inconvenient. That kind of betrayal hits different, doesn't it? Because when somebody lies on you, that hurts. When somebody talks behind your back, that hurts. When somebody manipulates the story, twists the facts, rewrites the scene to make themselves look clean and make you look crazy, yeah, that hurts too. But when someone who knew the whole truth finally opens their mouth, finally says what really happened, finally exposes the rot, and then the same people around you still act like you don't exist, that does something to your soul. That's not regular pain. That's psychological warfare, because now you're not just dealing with what they did to you. You're dealing with what they're doing after the truth gets exposed. You're dealing with the performance, the image management, the fake concern, the selective memory, the weird little smiles, the fake peace, the whole circus of people trying to keep their comfort while your reality gets shoved into a dark corner like it never mattered. And that's where most people break. Not when they're attacked, not when they're lied on, not when they're betrayed. They break when the truth comes out. And nothing changes. That's the part nobody prepares you for. Nobody prepares you for the moment when you realize people don't just fear lies. They fear truth too. Especially truth that makes them look weak. Truth that exposes what they enabled. Truth that proves you weren't overreacting. Truth that ruins the clean little version of reality they sold to everyone. See, people love truth when it's poetic. They love truth when it's trending. They love truth when it makes them feel deep and righteous and evolved. But when truth demands accountability, when truth forces people to admit they picked the wrong side, when truth reveals that they watched you suffer and said nothing, suddenly everybody gets quiet. Suddenly everybody gets confused. Suddenly nobody remembers. You know why? Because your existence is evidence. That's why they're acting like you don't exist. You're not being ignored because you're weak. You're being ignored because your presence is loud. You are proof. Proof that the mask slipped. Proof that the damage was real. Proof that somebody knew exactly what was happening and stayed quiet until it was safe to speak. Proof that the room was never innocent, and people hate living next to proof. Proof makes sleep hard. Proof makes fake friendships feel heavy. Proof makes casual conversations feel guilty. Proof makes every "I didn't know" sound stupid. So what do? They erase, they minimize, they rebrand, they move on too fast. They start posting peace quotes. They act spiritually mature. They say weird things like, "Let's not live in the past," when the past is still bleeding into your present. They tell you to heal in silence because your honesty makes them itch. They call your memory bitterness because they need language that protects them from your clarity. And let me tell you something you need to hear deep in your chest. You are not hard to love because you remember. You are not broken because you still feel it. You are not dramatic because it changed you. You are not toxic because you stopped smiling around people who played dumb while your world was burning. You're awake. That's all. You're awake in a room full of people addicted to pretending. And being awake in a fake world will make you look dangerous. Not because you are cruel, not because you are heartless, but because you can see. And once you can see, you stop playing along. You stop laughing on cue. You stop swallowing disrespect just to keep the peace. You stop shrinking to make other people feel less guilty. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop handing out pieces of your spirit to people who only show up when your silence is convenient. That's when they start calling you different. Cold, intense, too much, hard to read, hard to reach, hard to handle. Good. Be hard to handle when they handled you carelessly. Be hard to read when they read your kindness as weakness. Be hard to reach when they only reached for you, when they needed your energy, your loyalty, your patience, your forgiveness, your benefit of the doubt. You spent too much of your life being understandable to people who never even tried to understand you. And that's over. Let that version of you die. Not the good in you, not the heart in you, not the soul in you. Let the begging die. Let the over-explaining die. Let the constant need to prove your pain was real die. Let the version of you that keeps returning to the scene, hoping somebody will finally say, "You were right. We failed you. We see it now." Let that version die if it needs to, because some apologies never come in words. Sometimes the truth coming out was the apology. Sometimes their guilt is the apology. Sometimes their distance is the apology. Sometimes the way they can't look you in the eye anymore is the apology. Sometimes the way they act like you don't exist is the clearest confession you were ever going to get. Read that right. Their avoidance is not proof you imagined it. Their silence is not proof you were wrong. Their weird energy around you is not random. Their fake indifference is not peace. It is pressure, because they know, and you know they know, and they know you know they know. That kind of tension drives cowards insane. So they will do anything to make you doubt yourself again. They'll smile in your face and act normal. They'll tell half the story. They'll leave out names. They'll leave out timing. They'll leave out context. They'll say mistakes were made when specific people made deliberate choices. They'll talk about miscommunication because betrayal is too honest. They'll say everybody was hurting because that spreads the blame thin enough to protect the guilty. They'll call it messy because calling it evil would ruin too many relationships. And if you're not careful, you'll start choking on their version of events. You'll start wondering if maybe you should calm down, move on, stop being so intense, stop making people uncomfortable, stop carrying that look in your eyes like you've seen the back of human nature and you can't unsee it. Don't do that to yourself. Do not betray yourself just because the room is committed to betrayal. That is the trap. The trap is not just what they did. The trap is getting you to participate in your own erasure, getting you to talk softer about what shattered you, getting you to soften the language, getting you to water down the story, getting you to edit your memories so they can breathe easier, getting you to say, "It's okay," when it rewired your trust, getting you to say, "I'm over it," when it still wakes something violent in your nervous system every time you see fake smiles and polished lies. Listen carefully. You do not owe peace to people who fed you chaos. You do not owe access to people who mishandled intimacy. You do not owe warmth to people who went cold when the truth needed witnesses. You do not owe your voice to people who only hear you when you whisper. You do not owe your softness to a world that kept testing whether your pain had a limit. And let's get really honest for a second. Part of what hurts so much is not just that they betrayed you. It's that you were real. You were really there, really loyal, really showing up, really trying, really giving grace, really believing people meant what they said, really trying to make sense of nonsense because your heart didn't want to accept that some people can look you dead in the eyes, take your trust with both hands, and still choose themselves over your humanity. That's what wrecked you, not weakness, purity. You got damaged because you came in real, and the world will punish real people at first. It will test them, drain them, humiliate them, make them question everything. It will hand microphones to liars and tell truth-tellers to be patient. It will reward masks and isolate anyone who says, "No, that's not what happened." But here's the part they never see coming. Pain either buries you or it introduces you to your final form, and you, right now, standing in the ashes of being erased, ignored, minimized, and talked around, you are at that line. You can either keep begging dead souls to recognize your existence, or you can become so undeniable that their denial starts sounding pathetic. You can keep staring at the people who turned away, or you can turn inward and build something so solid that nobody gets to define you by what they refused to acknowledge. You can keep trying to resurrect old loyalty, or you can become the kind of force that no longer needs permission to rise. That's the shift. That's the switch. That's the moment where your pain stops being a prison and starts becoming a weapon. Not a weapon you use to destroy random people. No. A weapon you use to cut illusions, to sever weak attachments, to stop crawling back to people who already showed you their ceiling, to stop romanticizing broken dynamics just because there were a few good moments mixed in with the disrespect, to stop chasing closure from people whose entire personality is avoiding consequences. Closure is not always a conversation. Sometimes closure is the day you stop caring whether they understand what they lost. Sometimes closure is discipline, waking up when you don't feel like it, working when your chest is heavy, building when your confidence is bruised, learning when your mind is tired, walking away when every trauma in you wants to stay and fix it, keeping your standards high, even when loneliness whispers that being chosen badly is better than being alone powerfully. That whisper is a liar. Loneliness never destroyed you the way fake love did. Silence never played with your mind the way mixed signals did. Solitude never made you feel crazy the way betrayal did. You need to remember that. Being alone is not the worst thing. Being surrounded by people who need you invisible is worse. Being with people who only tolerate you when you stay quiet is worse. Being loved conditionally is worse. Being remembered only when your usefulness is needed is worse. Being included only when your truth is edited is worse. So stop fearing the clean cut. Some exits feel brutal because your soul knows it should have happened sooner. And when you leave, really leave. Don't leave physically and stay emotionally. Don't block them and still worship the memory. Don't distance yourself and still rehearse imaginary conversations in your head where they finally become the person you needed. Don't call it healing if you're still secretly hoping they transform. See people as they are, not as they could be, not as they were on their best day, not as they might become if life humbles them, as they are. That one skill alone will save you years, because the truth is, a lot of people don't want connection. They want access. They don't want honesty. They want optics. They don't want peace. They want control. They don't want love. They want someone loyal enough to survive their disrespect without leaving. And when you stop surviving it, they call you the villain. Wear it if you have to. Every person who escaped a toxic system got called difficult by the people benefiting from their silence. Every person who broke a manipulative cycle got labeled selfish by the ones losing control. Every person who refused to stay easy to consume got called arrogant by those who were used to unlimited access. Let them talk. Their language is not law. Their version is not reality. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. And don't miss the beauty in this dark little turning point you're standing in. You finally see what people do when truth becomes expensive. That knowledge is worth blood, because now you know who folds under pressure. Now you know who performs support, but disappears when it matters. Now you know who only speaks once it's socially safe. Now you know who watched the damage and calculated their own image first. Now you know who only stands near the truth when there's applause attached to it. That is sacred information. Don't waste it by going back blind. Take that information and sharpen your standards. Sharpen your attention. Sharpen your boundaries. Sharpen your routines. Sharpen your instinct. Sharpen your life until the version of you they erased becomes the version of you they can never touch again. And yes, it's going to feel brutal, because growth after betrayal is ugly before it's powerful. There will be nights when your mind spins, mornings when your body feels like lead, moments when a random song, smell, phrase, or memory will yank you back into the ache, moments when you'll wonder if all this toughness is making you less human. It's not. You are not becoming less human. You are becoming less available to disrespect. Huge difference. You are not losing your heart. You are learning where not to place it. You are not becoming bitter. You are becoming accurate. You are not becoming cruel. You are becoming selective. That's maturity in a world that worships performance and punishes discernment. And one more thing. Do not underestimate what happens when a person like you stops waiting to be seen and starts building anyway. That is terrifying to the people who dismissed you, because as long as you were begging to be recognized, you were still orbiting them, still tied to their reaction, still trapped in their gravity. But the second you start moving without needing their validation, the second you stop checking whether they noticed your absence, the second you stop performing your pain for people who already chose not to care, your energy changes. Now you're dangerous. Now you're no longer a wound walking around asking to be understood. Now you're a creator, a builder, a force, a presence, a storm with discipline, a survivor with taste, a mind that learned the pattern, a soul that got dragged through hell and came back with better eyesight. That kind of transformation cannot be ignored forever. They may pretend not to see you now. They may act casual now. They may scroll past your name now. They may talk around your impact now. They may sit in rooms where your truth is the silent elephant in the middle and still play dumb now. But the life you build from this point forward will speak in a language denial cannot cover. Your peace will speak. Your standards will speak. Your results will speak. Your detachment will speak. Your refusal to return to what broke you will speak. Your glow will speak. Your discipline will speak. The way you no longer explain yourself to clowns will speak. The way your eyes stop begging and start assessing will speak. And let me make this painfully clear. The goal is not revenge. Revenge keeps you spiritually chained to people beneath you. The goal is elevation so intense that the chapter where they erased you becomes the chapter that introduced your power. The goal is to become so rooted in yourself that when somebody acts like you don't exist, you don't crumble. You smirk, because you know what they're really saying is this: you remind me of what I did. You remind me of what I allowed. You remind me that I saw the truth and still failed. You remind me that I cannot rewrite reality as easily as I hoped. That's what their indifference is hiding. So stop reading their distance as rejection. Read it as exposure. Stop reading their silence as your insignificance. Read it as evidence. Stop reading their avoidance as your loss. Read it as their weakness. And keep moving. Move with precision. Move with restraint. Move with fire under the skin and ice in the decisions. Move like somebody who has nothing left to prove and everything left to build. Move like somebody who learned the hard way that being underestimated is a gift when your next season is lethal. Move like somebody who no longer confuses attention with respect. Move like somebody who has finally accepted that some people will never clap for your healing because your healing reminds them of the damage. Fine. Heal louder. Grow colder where it counts. Love smarter. Choose slower. Detach cleaner. Protect your mind like it prints gold. Protect your heart like it survived a war. Protect your future like it's the one thing in this life nobody gets to contaminate again. And when the memory comes back, when that old sting hits, when you remember the moment somebody who knew the whole truth finally said it, and the room still chose comfort over character, don't collapse. Remember what that moment really was. It was the death of illusion. It was the funeral for your naivety. It was the breaking point that revealed your threshold. It was the day the world showed you exactly how fake it can get when accountability enters the room. It was the day you stopped expecting fairness from weak people. It was the day you learned that truth does not always change the crowd, but it can change you. It can sharpen you. It can wake you. It can strip the softness that made you easy to exploit and replace it with something rarer, self-respect. And once self-respect locks in, everything changes. Now you don't chase. Now you observe. Now you don't beg. Now you decide. Now you don't force. Now you filter. Now you don't break just because somebody refused to see your worth. Now you measure people by consistency, not chemistry. Now you trust patterns, not promises. Now you understand that the people meant for your life will never need your disappearance to protect their comfort. Let the others keep acting. Let them keep pretending. Let them keep editing. Let them keep smiling that fake little smile and talking in circles and avoiding specifics and dressing cowardice up as peace. Meanwhile, you build. You build a body they can't drain. You build a mind they can't confuse. You build a life they can't access. You build habits that drag you out of emotional fog. You build standards that make low-level behavior obvious. You build discipline so strong that even on your worst day, you still move. You build faith in yourself so deep that being overlooked no longer feels like death. You build such a powerful relationship with your own truth that no crowd, no silence, no fake narrative, no strategic forgetting can take your name out of your own mouth ever again. That is how you win this. not by screaming until they admit it, not by bleeding in public until they finally feel bad, not by stalking old wounds and begging the past to turn human. You win by becoming ungovernable by betrayal. You win by making your inner world too solid to be shaken by people who live off performance. You win by refusing to let their inability to face truth become your lifelong identity. You win by turning the darkest thing they did into the reason you became impossible to play with. You win by becoming the kind of person who can stand in a room full of denial, feel the tension, see the masks, and still remain fully, powerfully, unapologetically real. Because you exist. You existed when they lied. You existed when they watched. You existed when the truth came out. You existed when they turned their faces. You existed when they acted like your pain was too inconvenient to acknowledge. You existed through every ugly little moment of selective memory and fake peace and polished avoidance. And now you exist on purpose. Now you exist with teeth. Now you exist with boundaries. Now you exist with vision. Now you exist with memory intact. Now you exist without asking anybody for permission to take up space. Now you exist without shrinking for the comfort of people who were fine watching you disappear. Now you exist in full view of the truth, and that truth is no longer a wound in your hands. It's a blade in your grip, and you're finally learning how to carry it.